Whoop whoop, motherfuckers, this is Divine Ninja, and I made an awesome post on Juggalos Online today, and I had to share it with you guys. And if you don't follow Juggalos Online on Facebook, you totally should, because I'm an admin on there, and so is Boy Blue, and so is a whole bunch of other fucking people. But, I made an awesome post on there, and I had to share it with you guys. So, this is what it says. This is why mainstream music is weird. Chris Brown and Drake had beef because they both fucked Rihanna, and Rihanna and Nicki Minaj work together and have a friendly type of deal. Nicki Minaj says she would like to marry Drake, and Drake says he would like to marry Nicki Minaj. But Lil Wayne also kind of wants a piece of her. But Lil Wayne works with Chris Brown a lot. But Lil Wayne and Drake are homies and they're label mates, but Drake and Chris Brown have now squashed their beef because they no longer fuck Rihanna. And it's just like, you don't hear this shit in the underground, man. You never do. I mean, the only thing that went close to it, and someone mentioned it, is the Sugar Slam situation, but, I mean, come on. The mainstream, they kind of normalize stuff like this, and it's been weird to me, because I would like to think in real life, like, you fuck a bitch and your homie, fucks the same bitch, you got beef, and everyone in your crew is like, well, that's fucked up, and they kind of got beef too. But in the mainstream, they're like, well, I mean, I got money, you got money, we can deal with it, let's just make a hit song, Someone also mentioned that in the comments, but it's kind of weird how the mainstream normalizes stuff like that, where in the underground, they totally don't. I feel like, in that sense, the underground's way more realer. Realer, is that a word? I don't think so. No, that's not a word. I even addressed that in one of my own songs, that realer is not a word, but whatever. I guess I have a way of using things that aren't words. But anyway, so, I mean, this is how I would rank music. There's sort of like a lower class underground, which is me. I make songs at home. I don't do shows or anything because I'm still trying to put my name out there. And then there's a middle class underground where you make music at home, but you have better equipment probably than I do, and you do local shows, maybe even a little past local. So you're putting yourself out there. You do have a name out there, at least in your local underground scene. You gotta start somewhere. And then there's a higher class underground, which is things like LSP and SKR and Psychopathic, of course, Subnoise. But then there's that awkward, in between underground and mainstream, which is kind of what ICP and Tech N9ne are sitting on, because they're very, very well known, but they're still in the underground. They don't really have, shit playing on the radio. It's not like they're a household name, It's not like more than half Americans would know who they are, And then there's lower class mainstream, where they're not exactly, like, horrible. They're just underrated, for the most part. I mean, obviously, motherfuckers like Soulja Boy, they suck. They're known for all the wrong reasons, but lower class mainstream's kind of like the underrated rappers like Lloyd Banks and Lupe Fiasco. They don't suck, they're just not as known as maybe people they run with. Middle class mainstream is where all the trash begins. Like Rick Ross and, Meek Mill and all those other motherfuckers that everyone seems to know about and bump, but I just don't care about. And then there's the higher class mainstream, which is like Eminem, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, all the fucking millionaires, which, again, is mostly trash. But not all, but mostly trash. But I just feel like there's more of a sense of realness in the underground in all classes versus the mainstream. The mainstream, it's very hard to find decent artists now, because they all want to be about who's the hardest and who's got the most money and whatever. And it's funny to me, right? In underground music, right? Like, if you talk about killing people, you sound like a psychopath, apparently. But in mainstream, if you talk about killing people in the streets and whatnot, you're hardcore, you're a gangster, you're a G. You know, you're telling people you run the streets. But if you do it in underground, rather, sorry. If you do it in underground music, you're a psychopath, apparently. And now, according to the FBI, a gang member. I don't understand this shit. Mainstream allows so many things to be normalized, whereas in the underground, shit's not happening like that. But anyway, much clown love, and let me know what y'all thought of what I had to say in the comments, I guess. Whoop whoop.